What's up, y'all, and happy holidays. Today we are back with another 25 days of Christmas recipes. Today we are making this gingerbread creme brulee donut. So let's go ahead and get started. In a bowl, I'm going to go ahead and pour in some warm milk. You can just dip your finger in the milk. You don't need to use a thermometer. It should just be warm but not too hot. I'm going to go ahead and add in my yeast packet. And this is about 2 teaspoons of yeast, my sugar. Give that a good mix and put that somewhere warm to rise. I like to use my microwave or my oven. Then we're going to go ahead and add in our flour, our salt, also add in some melted butter, and we're going to add in the eggs, which are room temp, but I'm going to scramble them separately. Then I'm going to pour it into my mixture. You can also start with the egg to make this part easier. But if you're not new here, you know I live by if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. And I've been doing this donut recipe for years. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and mix this. I did not pull out my stand mixer. You definitely can. But I want to show you guys how you can make all these recipes without any fancy equipment. So I'm going to mix this together for a little bit. And then I'm going to pour it onto my surface. And I'm going to knead it by hand for about 5 minutes. The dough will be a little wet, so feel free to put a little bit of flour on your hands and just combine that into in this nice, pretty bowl. I'm going to go ahead and take out a bowl and pour a little bit of oil in that so the dough doesn't stick. And I just like to toss a little bit of oil on top of the dough as well and place that in a bowl somewhere warm. And after an hour, it should be doubled in size. Take that dough and put it back on our flour surface, and we're just going to knead this again for about another 5 to 8 minutes. After kneading, I'm going to go ahead and roll this out. If you're wondering why there are no handles on my dough roller, it's because they fell off, I lost them, and I never bought a new one, but it gets the job done. So go ahead and roll that out as thin or as thick as you would like them. And then we're going to use our gingerbread cookie cutter, which I have listed below if you guys want to order your own. You can also just find them at Michael's or Joann's. I'm going to take these out and place them aside on a little parchment paper. And of course, if you ever made biscuits before, you know that we're going to have some leftover dough. I do have a biscuit recipe as well on my page, so go ahead and check that out. And we're just going to re-knead that dough again, just for a few seconds, just to get it back in place. And we're going to roll it back out, and I'm going to get as many little gingerbread people as I can out of it. And then whatever is left over, I usually just turn into like little donut holes. And you can also use them to test when your oil is ready if you don't have a thermometer. So to make the donut holes, I'm just going to literally roll them in a little circle. Place these somewhere warm for about 35 to 45 minutes. They should be doubled in size, and we can go ahead and start working on our custard. In a pot on medium heat, I'm going to go ahead and pour in my milk, along with some eggs that I scrambled in a separate bowl. I definitely suggest doing this before pouring it in the mixture, just to make it a little bit easier. Give that a good mix, as it may take a while because of the eggs. Once it's well combined, we're going to go ahead and add in our sugar. Mix that up really well, and at this point, because the milk is getting hotter, you want to keep mixing this, and you don't really want to walk away from this. So we're going to go ahead and add in our cornstarch, but we're going to add it really, really slowly so that we just don't have clumps of cornstarch in the batter. Once that's well combined, go ahead and add in a little pinch of salt, about maybe 1/8 teaspoon. And give that a good mix as well. And your batter should start to really thicken up at this point. This part is completely optional, but I am going to add in a little bit of cinnamon. And as you can see, my batter is starting to get kind of like a yogurt consistency. So at this point, I'm going to turn my heat off and just pour in that vanilla and mix that together. And go ahead and take that off the stove. And you're just going to pour that into a separate bowl and let that cool down for a little bit, and then place that in the fridge while we work on the rest of our donuts. It should be cooled down after about 20 to 30 minutes. Once your oil hits about 350, you can go ahead and add in your donuts. If you don't have a temperature, again, use that donut hole and put it in the oil. And if it fries up to the top, then your oil is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and add in my little ginger people, and I'm not going to crowd the pot too much. And then once you see it's browning after about 5 minutes, you want to go ahead and flip that over and let the other side cook for about 5 minutes. and then take that out of the oil and place it onto a rack or a plate or a container of some sort. While those donuts cool down, we're going to go ahead and add in our sugar and our water mixture and just let that cook down. It will slowly start to get really thick, and then once it is super brown, you know that it's done. While the creme brulee topping is cooking, we're going to go ahead and add in our custard, and you just place this in a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you can use a ziploc bag and just cut the end off, and then just stuff your gingerbread. I also made a few without the custard because I had a friend that did not want it, so you can do that as well. Once your creme brulee topping looks like this, it's nice and brown, about at 200, I'm going to go ahead and dip my little ginger people in them. You can also use your hands, but will be a very bad burn if you do accidentally touch it, so I definitely suggest using the tongs if you're not experienced. Repeat this process on all of the donuts and let it cool for about 5 to 8 minutes. The creme brulee topping does harden pretty quick, so you do want to make this process pretty fast if you can. And this is it, guys. This is how you make a ginger person creme brulee donut. Let me know what you guys think and what other recipes you want to try this holiday.